Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Dan Tells Real Life Ghost Stories Part 2. So, I really think some of us are just more open to the supernatural. And I think it happens if you're in touch with it, on a critical basis. So, the last story I did, I just posted it a few minutes ago. But I forgot to tell you guys about some of the other stuff that happened. I told you the Felicia story and all that stuff. Now let me tell you, I came in one morning. And I just worked a double. Worked 16 hours. In a mental health institution, it was very rough, right? But I'll never forget this. I'll never forget it. There were all kind of crazy things happening. Doors would be open. Cabinets would be open. I told you about the water thing. But this was something, and I want to say it's a dream, but it's not actually. It wasn't actually a dream. So, I came in, did a double. Go to sleep, I wake up screaming, right? And there's this white woman sitting in my chest. And Katie Wolf can attest to this, right? I told her about this. There's this white woman sitting in my chest, and she's wearing, I'll never forget it, she's wearing a white nightgown. And she had beautiful blonde hair, and it's just kind of flowing in the wind, but she's pressing me down, and I couldn't sit up. And she says, "You will never hurt me or my kids again." That, I wish you could see the hair standing up on my arms right now, because that's what's happening. To relive that. And she's holding me down. I couldn't understand what she said, right? Because she's just like screaming at me. It was so vivid. And then she went away. Of course, I got up. And a few years later, when I went with Katie Wolf, we looked through all these reports about the house. One of the reports that was very interesting, is one of the reasons because this place stood vacant for 8 years. But the previous residents, there was a lady who posted, and you can find this stuff on YouTube or whatever. I forget what site we looked through. But she said her husband had this dream. And to me, it was like, I didn't know if I was dreaming or if I was awake. Here's what I do know. After she dissipated, I sat immediately up. So I don't think I was asleep. But the previous residents, whatever that apparition was holding her husband down. Now here's what the apparition said: "You will never hurt me or my kids again. Ever." So, I take that it was a disgruntled mother, right? And any man in that house was gonna have to deal with her, which I appreciate. Hey, good for her. I'm all with that. You shouldn't be hurting your wife and kids. That was just something I left out of the last video that I wanted to put in there so you could understand the tumultuous time I went through in that place. So, this is Dan Dawson Tells a Ghost Story, which isn't really a story. This actually happened. But it was crazy. The thing with Shane and his wife, they asked me how I stopped it the apparitions, and I told them I got cats. I'll always have a cat. Cats are keepers of the dead, supposedly. So, if you have supernatural friends, send this out to them. See what they think about it. So I'm telling you, it's on a level. I lived it. I experienced it. That was crazy. I'm telling you, I'm just like laying there. And it's like I hadn't quite dozed off, but I wasn't quite awake. And it's like I was trapped. I couldn't move. So, like, subscribe, share, and as always, do what you gotta do.